Hi guys, some of you may have seen me make this clipping hammer a couple of weeks ago on one of my earlier videos. I made it out of one of these old ball peen hammers that I got from the local shop, and it's used for clipping up horseshoes. Well, I did it as a demo, so I don't really need it anymore, and I did say, I think in the video, that I might turn it into an axe. So I'm going to give it a go and try and turn it into a mini Farriers Axe. I'm going to squash this end and flatten it out into a bit of an axe shape. I don't know how well it'll come out, but if I can get some tongs to fit, we'll stick it in the forge and give it a go. And it's going to be really difficult to hold on to this with this taper. If I was going to do it now, I'd leave the ball first, or leave the ball and do the end first and then draw the ball out afterwards, because this is really tricky to hold on to this point. But we'll give it a go, see what happens. Shouldn't take too long to warm up. I've just put a shaft back on my old club hammer, so I should be able to give it a bit of a beating. My arms will hold up. Don't really want to get it too hot. That actually looks hotter on the video than it is in real life. I don't know why I'm having a problem with this. I've already got an IR filter on the camera, but it still gives the impression of being much hotter. You don't want to work it until it gets too cold either. It's quite a narrow sort of window when you're working with this high carbon steel. And as you can tell, probably, it's pretty tough stuff. Now it's starting to come down. That's enough for that heat. Get it warm again. And if you don't let it get too cold, if your forge is pretty decent, it will literally take sort of seconds to heat up again. So keep an eye on it, because it will get hot pretty quick and you don't want to end up burning it. I don't know if many of you know what a Farrier's Axe was actually for. During World War I, when there was a lot of horses used, the farrier carried his axe, so if any of the horses got injured, he'd put them out of their misery with the pointy end straight through the forehead, and then he'd actually cut the foot off, because the feet, at least one foot, had its registration number and details on it. I'm going to try and keep it straight up the middle, if you can. Yeah, so that he took the foot off. It's like taking a dog tag off. So that, actually I've just noticed, if you can see there, I don't know if you can see it, it'll focus, there's a bit of a groove starting to appear up the middle there. See it better there. Now you want to get that out, because if you keep going, that'll fold over and cause like a groove down the middle, or a gap. It'll look like a crack right the way running up it. So you want to get rid of that first off. Anyway, yes, so they took the foot off, took it back to the barracks or wherever, and it was all registered as to where it died, how it died, etc, etc, just to keep a record. So that's what the Farrier's Axe was for. And this is just hammering back that groove, just flattening it all back out, pushing it back into itself, and carry on. You might need to do that a couple of times, just to stop that fissure appearing. I'm still struggling with these tongs. I haven't really got anything that's ideal for holding this sort of thing. If I'd thought about it and had the time, I would have made some to specifically fit. Probably go into the hole where the shaft goes. Perhaps like a 90-degree pair of tongs would go into the centre hole. But hey ho, didn't have time, no forward planning. And as I said just a minute ago, it's tough old stuff. This is going to take quite a long while. If you get bored, you can skip through to nearer the end. I'm still struggling with these tongs. When you're working on tough material like this, you just got to persevere, really. It's coming. You'll probably get some bright sparks saying, oh, you should have annealed it first. Well, no. Because annealing's only any good if you want to work it cold, as far as I'm concerned. Because you get it hot, you cool it out, or anneal it, and you can work on it cold because it's gone soft. But if you're heating it up, it's getting soft anyway. It's not going to get any softer because you've annealed it and then you heat it again. So, just persevere. And so that looks much hotter than it actually is. In reality, well, I can't really tell, describe. It's just a bit hotter than the bit where the shaft goes on that particular video or picture. In fact, the temperature now that it looks is about what it was when it came out the fire, or just a little bit more perhaps. And actually that looks much darker in reality, which is why it's going back in the fire. I'd love to know why the IR filter doesn't work properly, unless it's a cheap Chinese one. Anyway, I'm going to try and see if I can perhaps find another pair of tongs that might fit a bit better. I'm really struggling with these ones. I'll give these ones a go. I don't know if they'll be any better at all, but we'll try. And I'm also now using the rounded side of a slightly smaller hammer, which is one of my shoeing hammers. What I want to try and achieve here is to sort of push out some of the bulk from the middle towards the edges. So I'm using the ball and now the beak to try and push it out a bit, try and speed up this process, get some of this material moving around. It looks like it's working because it's all of a sudden starting to spread. You've got to keep an eye on things, try and keep it all up central. It's very easy for it to get out of hand and get all over the place, and then you have a hell of a job to get it back. So you see there, that one's gone, oh bugger. See, that's gone quite off centre. You want to get that back as quick as you can, or as soon as you can. Let's see if we can square it up a bit. Those tongs still aren't working. Let's brought it more up, back up the centre. We can carry on a bit more over the beak, giving it a bit of a move around. You see it's getting quite thin now towards the sort of the cutting edge. Blasted tongs getting on my nerves. There you go. I wanted something that would go either round there and into the sort of hole, or come in from the side, sort of like 90 degrees, bend the jaws on the tongs at 90 degrees so you can hold it sort of slightly off to one side. See if I can try another pair. Let's have a go with these, see if these are any better. Because I'm struggling. And I don't like to struggle. Nothing worse than not being able to hold your material properly, because you just can't push it around to where you want it to go. Because you do tend to push the material with your hammer at times. You can spread the material in different directions by sort of aiming your hammer. It's difficult to describe. You sort of aim it and give it a bit of a pull. I think I described it on my clipping video. You sort of pull towards you when you're clipping. It's similar with the drawing out. You can sort of push it in a direction. That's not too bad. It's still a little bit off centre. I'm going to square it up again. It's taking quite a long while, but we'll give it a bit longer. Obviously I'm going to be running out of time before long, but I want to try and make it as wide as I can without making it too thin or out of proportion to the size of the hammer we started with. Obviously it's nowhere near the size of a proper Farrier's axe. That's probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 times bigger. If you Google a Farrier's axe, you'll come across a quite a nice photo of a farrier on his horse with his axe in his hand. Ceremonial. They are now. See, that's coming. We're getting there, but it's still a bit of meat to push out up towards where the shaft goes. So unfortunately, we're going to have to get it warm again. You can just see one of the clipping hammers, or actually both of them, hanging on the Bosch there. I made the second one a few years ago. I thought the first one was on its last legs, and as it turned out, it wasn't. So I've hardly used the new one. So I really didn't need a third. And as I don't make quite so many shoes these days, it's not really necessary. This pair of tongs is working slightly better. I can give it a bit more oomph. You can see now towards the blade end of that thing, it's getting quite cool quite quickly. You really don't want to work it too cold. I still want to get back here and get some of the meat from the top. Push it down a bit. And that blade edge is really cold now. I should stop. Just try and level it up a bit more. I think by now I'm starting to get tired and fed up because I can't hold the thing properly with those tongs. My arm's slightly aching. I've got an eye on the clock and I want to get the video done. I really want to get this completed. It's not going as quick as I'd hoped. Now you can see me angling the hammer, trying to spread the edges. And you can probably just see me moving the actual axe about as well to try and help spread it. We're getting there. All the time keeping an eye on keeping it central, all those sort of things. Always trying to think of 2 or 3 things at once when you're working it. So it's coming out, we're getting there. When I've finally done it, I'm going to draw the point out a bit more, but I think I'm going to just give it another go and just tidy the blade up a little bit more, and I'm going to call it a day on the blade. Get rid of that one. Get rid of the scale, because this is the final bit. I'm just not hitting it very hard now, because I'm now trying to take out the hammer marks. And just tidy it up a little bit. So just working it sort of gently. Oh, the odd heavy hit. The blade's a little bit bent there, so straighten it up a bit. That's not bad. Really down the middle, though the blade's a little bit bent, so I'm just going to straighten that up a bit. That's better. I think I'm going to call it a day on that, so I'm going to see if I can get some tongs that will hold it this way. These blooming things won't. And we'll stick it in point first, just draw that out a bit more. Now it's not being used as a clipping hammer. You can draw it out a lot longer and thinner. Try and get it in proportion with what a Farriers Axe might have been. Again, I'm really struggling holding this, trying to hold this damn thing. Because it's tapered, you're trying to hold on a taper, you're just holding on a tiny, tiny little bit of metal. And you just, however hard you squeeze the tongs, you just cannot grip it. There's always a danger when it's not being gripped properly, that, especially when you're holding it that way, that it'll fly up and hit you in the face. Which has happened before now. If I haven't had tongs that fit properly and I'm in a bit of a hurry, these things do happen. Just when you're holding it that way, it can suddenly flick right up, smack you right in the kisser. It usually happens so quickly, it's more of a surprise than anything else. It doesn't hurt till afterwards. You can see that point's getting real out of shape, it's going all over the place. Really need to take control of that and straighten it up. Put it back straight a little bit. I'm getting fed up with these damn tongs. I don't know, so I can try some other ones. See what I've got. I've got dozens of them, but I don't think I've got any that will fit properly. I'll try a different pair again. Holding it a little bit better, still not ideal. Again, it's going way out of shape because you just can't, you're not holding it firmly, you go all over the shop. And also, if you want to bend something straight, often you want to hold the point, which you can see is, oh, blooming tongs, is way out here. You want to hold the point down on the anvil and hit back behind it to bring it straight. Well, if you can't hold the job firmly, you can't hit back between the anvil and the tongs. It's like in mid-air, because it'll just either fly up and hit you in the face or hit the floor. Let's try another set. No, it's still not ideal. Bloody things. If you're doing stuff like this, I think, or if you were doing it on a regular basis, you'd have to make a set of 90-degree tongs that would hold through the eye. It's the only way you could do it and hold the job properly. As I don't intend to do many of these, I probably won't make a pair. Although actually I might make a pair as a demo, as a video. Hammerhead holding tongs. Let's go on to cock again. Clean up the face. Don't do that as much as I should do. I think I've told you before that when you're forging, if there's dirt on the anvil, it gets forged back into the material, and if it doesn't get forged back into the material, it can leave little pits where you're sort of hitting over the top of it. And that's how I want to hold it. So if I had a pair of tongs like that with a 90-degree bend on them, go through the eye, and the tongs come back towards me, so I think that'd be quite a nice little video. And there you go, that's quite a nice proportion I think there now, between axe and point and eye. So I'm going to call that out now, because I'm going to call it a day I think, and that'll harden it. Then what I shall probably do then is clean it up roughly, probably with my flap disc. These are all the tongs I've used so far and had no luck with. 3, 4, plus the one I'm holding with it now, 5, 6. None of them have done the job properly, so it's a real good cause or good case for making a proper set. Never mind. Anyway, I'm going to clean this head up I think. And so first off, I'm going to use the flap disc. You can still see there just a few hammer marks in, but I've got rid of most of them. It helps if you plug it in or switch it on anyway. I want to be fairly quick doing this. So I'm, as usual, running out of time. I want to try and show you what it can come up like. These flap discs are brilliant, especially if you get lots of different grades, different grits. This one I think is probably an 80, maybe 60 probably. Which is I use as like a general one. You can go down to sort of 36, which is really coarse, right up to sort of 120, which is nice and fine. You can get quite good results on a job just by changing a few discs before you even start with sort of sandpaper and stuff like that, if you're doing a real posh job. But this 80 or, yeah, I think it's 80 or 60, whatever it is, I use for everyday use. Just trying to get rid of all the hammer marks. Go over the eye, which was quite pitted. I don't know what they've been doing with it. There's marks in both sides, which I'm going to have to take a bit of time to get out. I'll just show you now, it's not too hot to hold. That's the start, just very roughly cleaning it up. So you can see I've got a lot to do. I won't bore the life out of you, so I'll do it and come back. And there we are, that's just sort of rough with the flap disc. That's cleaned it up quite nicely. It's got it to the stage now where I'll temper it now. There's no point cleaning it up and polishing it up completely until it's been tempered, because it's obviously the tempering is going to alter the look of it. So I've got quite a low fire going. I think you saw this on my clipping video, clipping hammer video. I'm doing it the same way. I'm just going to heat it very slowly, really low fire, so it sort of gets right through the material. Turn it over so it sort of soaks through from both sides. Try and keep it the sort of heat evenly coming through it. And I think I'm going to quench this one at sort of a straw colour. Take it out and have a look, see what colour's coming down. With it being nice and shiny, you can see very easily. Nothing yet. I'll leave it a bit longer. Doesn't take long, this bit. The heat gets back into it really quickly. So don't walk away, just keep an eye on it. Keep looking, turning it over. Now there, I think you can probably just see there's some yellow and blue. It's gone just about, I think, how I want it. I think I'm going to call it a day at that. Yeah, we've got enough of a straw colour for me. So it's probably going to be an ornament, so it doesn't have to be 100%, because it's literally going to be an ornament for me. Right, I've given it a bit of a polish up. Obviously, again, run out of time, so I haven't finished it. This is probably 90% done, but you get the gist of what it'll look like. I think that'll look quite nice once that's completely polished up. Still a few blemishes. You can see where the maker's name was that I ground out. There's a few marks on the point still. A few grinding marks in there to get out. But I think you get the idea. Just got to go down with some finer sandpaper before I finally polish it. Let's see if I can see it a bit better. Focus. And so if you Google a Farriers Axe, you'll see a proper one. I'll probably put a nice handle in here. But a Farriers proper axe is like, I don't know, must be 3 or 4 times bigger blade. Yeah, I'll let that handle in, polish it all up, keep it as an ornament at home, stick it on the mantelpiece or something or other as a bit of a reminder of my trade and what they did in World War I. And it's still carried today for ceremonial purposes. So there you go, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one, whatever that might be.